Hey guys, it's Josh here and I hope you're all doing great. It's been quite a while since my last speed build, since I've actually started university over the last week, and I've just been kind of like easing into it because obviously my daily routine is about to change, and I've already started getting used to it now. Like my full first week has been finished, so I'm finally just like relaxing a little bit, and I built this house. So since StrangerVille came out, it's been out for like 2 weeks or something now, but I haven't done a build with any of the new objects yet, so I thought I must try at least. And honestly, I wasn't feeling that inspired, so I just looked at what other people were doing, and there were lots and lots of trailers. So like, hey, that's actually pretty cool. Like, I've built a trailer once before, I believe, but like that was just like a generic regular trailer. But this one is more like an abandoned trailer that, like, obviously for StrangerVille reasons isn't actually that abandoned, and there's actually stuff going on inside which I'm sure the public will not know about or will want to know about, since like there is like hazmat lines around the outside of the house and stuff like that. As you can see, we are just starting with the exteriors first, and instead of putting regular windows like every single build I've ever done in The Sims, I thought I might as well try something different and actually use those garage door city living murals as like the quote-unquote closed windows, because like the nature of this build, especially in StrangerVille, is like very mysterious and secretive, so I thought might as well play it with that idea a little bit more and make the windows look like they're locked closed basically, which I think was a cool idea, and I think it turned out like okay in the end. Also, later on I obviously had to put the shutters on the inside as well, since like it would be inconsistent if you go inside and like it looks like the window doesn't even exist. So I just put the garage doors on basically both sides, and it basically had the effect that I wanted. But anyway, as you can see, we're just like making the caravan look really old and like abandoned now, since obviously we do want to keep the public out and we want to scare them away from what's going on inside. So what better than to make the house look completely scary and off limits, especially with the hazmat lines, which I did mention earlier. And honestly, I have barely ever used any of the like scratches and blemishes. Are they called blemishes? Like I think that's what they call like marks on skin, but I'm not sure about like marks on houses. But like there's lots of like watermarks and scratches and cracks and stuff, which I've almost never used before. But anyway, here goes the hazmat lines. Obviously there is a way inside, but I'm sure the public will not want to pass that line either way. And I also do put a door on the back as well, but that's basically unusable. I just wanted to do that since like I guess it's somewhat realistic to be able to have an entrance and exit on both sides, but I actually didn't set up the ladder to get up there, so well, not ladder, like the steps to get up there, so your Sims won't be able to use that door. But I just put it there for realism reasons, even though this build isn't that realistic, since this is in StrangerVille. Obviously things are not as they seem, or things are not as realistic as usual. This actually took me a very long time to finish the inside for some reason. I have no idea why. It just took the same time as like my normal builds basically, and I don't know how that is possible, since this is a tiny build compared to like my other houses. Like I don't build like mansions or anything, but like they're somewhat decently sized houses, and this is definitely not one of those houses, but it took just as long. I think it's just because I paid attention to so much detail, since I just noticed that as the build size gets smaller, the amount of detail I put into each room just goes up exponentially, which is probably why I guess it took just this long, because I just put so much detail. There's so much clutter, there is so much mess as well, since obviously this is an abandoned house, or it's supposed to look like one, so there is a lot of like old broken things and a lot of like mess and like paper on the ground and like things on the wall and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I think we're almost done with like the basic exterior decoration. I do actually put some of those like bizarre fruit plants on the outside as well, so that will give you a little bit of a hint as to what's going on inside. But for the moment we are just placing some of these glowy bizarre fruits, and these are just the wild ones, but inside there's actually a little bit more going on in terms of bizarre fruits, which we'll find out very soon. But we're just playing around with these. I was expecting to find them in the regular plant section, but it turns out that they're by debug. Like I thought there was like a sculpture version, which is like for decorative purposes, but I guess you actually have to put the real deal down. So we are ready to go inside now, and as you can see, it looks like there's going to be a little basement slash staircase area, but in the end I decided that it was just going to take way too long, and I'll actually do like a separate lab build soon, I think. Like I really want to build like this lab build based on StrangerVille, but I just didn't think it would be fit for this build any longer, since like at the start I was like, hey, this is a pretty good idea, but in the end it just didn't work. Like on paper it sounded really cool, but in the end I just decided that it was not really one I wanted, and I just decided to scrap that idea, just make this like a self-contained caravan lab area, because like it's a bit strange, to be honest, that there's like this random abandoned caravan and underneath it is just this massive lab. Like I think I just decided that it wasn't the best of concepts in the end. Anyway, we are starting with the kitchen now that everything has been sorted out. The floor plan still isn't final yet, since obviously there is still that area where the staircase will go, but in the end that just disappears, as I just said. To be honest, this house is very, very like basic and limited in terms of what you can do in it. So like there's a bed, there's a TV, there's a table, there's a toilet, there's a listening device, but apart from that there's not even a shower, so your Sims will be really stinky. But if I'm being honest, like if a Sim that was like really scared of StrangerVille and wanted to find out more about StrangerVille and are doing heaps of investigations, I'm pretty sure like they wouldn't really be caring about their personal hygiene or their like social life or anything like that. So that is why this caravan is like really dirty, messy. All their life focus at the moment is basically StrangerVille and its secrets. So they do not care about anything else in the world, and they are fully committed on finding out more about StrangerVille, and they will do whatever it takes to like get to the bottom of everything. Like, honestly, there is something going on in StrangerVille and they want to find out what on earth is going on. But anyway, that's basically like what I came up with while building this, which is essentially why I decided to scrap that laboratory idea, like the underground lab idea in the end, since like this person living here probably wouldn't be the most like wealthiest of people, and they wouldn't be able to afford this massive underground laboratory in the middle of their like caravan. And I was gonna put like the shower thing down, as you can see, but for some reason it just wasn't clicking for me, and I decided to just scrap that idea as well. Like this build just went through so many stages and I just scrapped so many things. Like I didn't really plan this house either. I just found that like I wasn't really inspired enough to plan like this caravan house, because I just hadn't had any chance to take a look at any of the new objects to come up with ideas. So I kind of like came up with them on the fly, which honestly it turned out pretty cool in the end, because I just refined everything as I went, and as I got more ideas and I changed ideas, things just started coming to me a lot more naturally like they do in my normal builds. So yeah, this has the table that came with StrangerVille as well, like the laboratory table. I'm not sure if you can actually do anything on it, but like it just looked cool, so I put it down. I put some more clutter on it as well, just to make it look really used and lived in, and there's lots of like folders and files and stuff as well from the person's investigations. It's like really mysterious and really kind of like spooky at the same time. And as you can see, I forgot to mention it as I did it, but like as you can see, the bath is actually not used as a bath, and it's actually used to it's actually used to grow some of the bizarre fruits so that the person can actually investigate them and see what kind of hidden qualities they possess, which is kind of like spooky as well. Like honestly, if I walked into this place I'd be so spooked out, because there's stuff going on in here that I have no clue what it is. Like, what is this like pink fruit? Why is there so much mess and stuff like that? And that's just so spooky. But that's kind of what I was going for. Like, this is definitely not the typical build I build, and it was a lot of fun. And like, I might do something similar in the future, but on a larger scale. So maybe like an abandoned house instead of like a tiny trailer. So maybe like one of the other residential lots in StrangerVille, I could make like a sort of really abandoned like house, which has a similar concept, but may actually have the underground laboratory in the basement, since like even a tiny house can sometimes have a basement, but a trailer doesn't usually have a basement, if you ask me, because they're kind of meant to be portable. So having a basement is kind of like, it defeats the purpose of having a portable trailer. So as you just saw, the basement was completely removed, and that meant I was able to add a toilet in there, so your Sims would actually be able to survive, even though their hygiene may not be able to do as well as their bladder need. But honestly, just get your Sim to wash their hands a billion times and they'll be fine. I'm just joking, but like, I'm sure You can easily place one of those portable showers, like the one from Outdoor Living, I believe, if you can place those down. Or honestly, you can just delete the decorative bath and put an actual bath in there and your Sims will be able to survive even better. Or you can even put this like shower bath in there, the DIY one from StrangerVille. Like, that would look fine, but the reason why I put the bath there is just so I can make the fact clear that this person is investigating the bizarre fruits by growing them in his own house. Which is kind of like a bit like risky, since like you never know, he could end up being possessed. And another bizarre fruit goes down, so this person is growing a lot of bizarre fruits, and there's even some growing outside, which is like what basically got him interested. So when he first moved into this house, or when he or she first moved into this house, it was just a generic house, like nothing was too special about this caravan. But then these two little plants popped up on the front of his house, and he was like, what is this? Or I keep saying he, but like honestly it's he or she or they. They ended up picking up a bizarre fruit and putting it into his bath, and it started growing, and it's like, he started investigating it basically. But anyway, I think the interiors are essentially almost done. There is a few little more decoration objects from StrangerVille that goes in, since like I just wanted to make the use of as many StrangerVille objects as possible. Here comes the massive shelf. It looks so much cooler than the one from Dine Out, because up until now I've been using that Dine Out one every time I wanted a shelf, but I think I'll be using this one a lot more now, since this actually looks like it goes in a garage or something, and it actually looks like it's got a variety of things stored on it. But the one from Dine Out basically looked like it just had tubs on it, basically like tubs of sauces, tubs of ingredients. But this one looks like it's got tubs of tools and like utility things, which I think looks a lot cooler. And I ended up putting a TV on it as well, so your Sims can actually watch TV and entertain themselves, since I think that's like the only way they could entertain themselves in this house, since like there's no bookshelf, there's no like computer, like, well, there is a listening device, but you can't use that as a computer, so that's a bit of a shame. Well, and I guess they can view the artwork as well. I'm not sure how much fun looking at posters all day would be though. And another interesting thing is I also do put a couple of like hidden objects under the bed as well, which I think looked pretty cool. Like I put a little bit of a money bag underneath as well, so this person has a little bit of money but not a lot. And now that the interiors are almost done, well, now that the interiors are basically done, we are just finalizing the exteriors, and I don't do much else other than put some like satellite dishes down. I put a few security cameras down as well, just to keep the whole house area secured, and there's actually at least a little bit of a defense system in place, so if an unauthorized person does, or if like a curious member of public does decide to investigate the house, they will know about it, and with the person living in here will know about it, and they will be able to activate their defense system, which is basically just like locking the entire house and basically going in lockdown, basically, and making it look like the house is actually fully and completely abandoned. So the kitchen, or the window in the kitchen, will get closed as well, and the shutters, the doors will basically get locked shut. So yeah, I think that's basically all there is to it. I think I did a lot of talking about random stuff instead of actually talking about the build in this speed build, since I was actually really excited about like exploring what kind of story this house has and the potential like storylines of the person living here. So maybe if you guys haven't played StrangerVille yet and end up getting it down the line, and you could potentially live in this house or another house and like have some kind of like fun storyline that you can follow along with. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. If you'd like to find this house in the gallery, it will be up as Abandoned Caravan. Also, there will be screenshots at the very end of this, so if you'd like to see those, definitely stay tuned. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!